Hi everyone, good to see you. Welcome. I'm Helene here at Cabin Fever Crochet for those of you who are new. And today I have a share with you of this really neat shop that I found down in Spokane, Washington, and I'm in northeastern Washington state. And I had to go all the way downtown, and on the way back, I realized, oh, this place called Art Salvage is pretty close, not too far off the beaten path. So I stopped and I had extra time and I wound up spending a good hour in there and I filmed. So I'm going to share the tour of that with you, and I hope some of you out there will find that as interesting and fun as I did. And then at the end of this, and I keep looking over because of my one dog, make sure she stays put. Anyway, then at the end, I'm going to show you the few things I got, which was a total of two different trips. So I went in the 1 week and then I went back for something else the other week, and then I found a couple other things, but this is not stuffed full. It's just one item is kind of large, and I separated everything up so it didn't get all smushed. But I won't be out here too long chatting because it's a hot one. It's 100 degrees right now, Fahrenheit, but really not that bad at all in the shade because it's only 16% humidity, very low. So I'm only sweating a little bit, kind of like opening your oven. And I had read, which I originally had thought it was a comment from a viewer on my channel, but thinking back, I think it was someone else's channel talking about these types of shops. And they're essentially a thrift store for all things art, all kinds of art supplies, and even had yarn, and it just, and a nice, well, rather large fabric section, and a vintage with all kinds of little odds and ends and different things that I wouldn't even expected in there, but could be reused, repurposed for something else. So yes, all the items are donated, and I love that. Nothing goes to waste, and it really goes back to the community, and it's so supportive, and they have classes and different stuff for kids to get them involved and engaged and open them up into the world of arts and crafts. So I just love everything about it, and it was such a welcoming and fun place. Oh, and if you're wondering my hat, because I usually like to let you know if it's something crochet that I'm wearing. This is just my usual. I wear a different variety of these. My brimmed crochet sun hat, and so the link for the tutorial is in the drop down description section. I have a written pattern for it too. And I'm really curious, because we're going through this tour together, if anything stands out to you that you thought was interesting or weird or would have loved to have gotten yourself if you were there, and or those of you who've been hanging out with me for a while and gotten to know my taste, what do you think that I got that is in this bag? And away we go, entering Wonderland. Such cute displays too, just drew me in from the get-go. I love all those oversized brushes and pencils and everything else. And what it says on the wall, that I'll just call their mission statement, so to speak, is Art Salvage is a nonprofit creative reuse center that supports the circular economy in the inland Northwest by diverting usable materials from the waste stream and getting materials into the hands of makers. How lovely is that? So when I first walked in, I mean, all of this was new to me, just as it is to you right now, and I wasn't sure what's what, so I just stepped in, took a glance around, took it all in for a minute just to get an immediate sense of what was what and where. And then after a couple minutes, I just walked right up and introduced myself and asked if I could film. And as you can see, it is so well organized. Everything's laid out really nicely into all of the different sections. It was really tidy, easy to navigate and find things. So when I walked around, I did all one way, checked everything out. Oop, there it is, yarn on the back wall. Woohoo! That's where I'm gravitated immediately towards. And then I did another pass around in the other direction too. just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And you see that on the right, bulk bags, where she sells in bulk certain items. A lot of the art pens and pencils, and whatever you fit into that bag, that is what they are, and they're really, really inexpensive too. And over yonder here on this wall, there you can see classes and events that are coming up. Hands-on for kids workshop, maker meeting for everyone. Ooh, coming up. Oh, that's already come and gone, July. And then hands-on kids workshop. So I see the kids workshops are $10 each, and the maker meetup is free. That would be fun. And then I saw people, there's a big back section where they have donations and things, and then to another room where people get together and create and bring their items in. I didn't ask too much about that, but I will have to check that in next time. And look at that, Art Salvage won a 2019 Recycler of the Year award. And there at the front desk is the very adorable, gracious, and helpful Kale, who is so sweet. And then I found in this section to the left of the front counter, wasn't even near the yarn, but there are weaving and loom kits there. I thought those could be like really fun little gifts, brand new in their packaging. And just all kinds of interesting things all around this place. And you can buy their logo tote bags and t-shirts, as you can see. There's just so much, and I could spend a whole hour showing you everything, but I'm going to try to make this a little more condensed and just give you a bit of a run through the entire shop. So this is the framing and matting section, and there are also pictures and prints and stuff with frames in them. And I have been in places where I've bought something like that just for the frame itself. I liked it so much, and that's great because that stuff can be really expensive to take it into a framing shop and have a piece of artwork done professionally like that. So if you're good at it already, doing your own matting, that is a great way. See in there, that's a huge room, goes all across the back wall. That's where the donations go, and whatever other fun things they do back there. And these are great. These are painting on canvas for kids, kind of like paint by numbers, but without the numbers. And that's a great way to find gifts. You have young children, grandchildren, without breaking the bank. Tons and tons of cards, paper crafting. There's a table of rubber stamps. There's some inks. A lot of them are pre-owned or pre-loved, and some used and some in really great condition. Some bottles of glitter glue and paint and things that were half full, 3/4, quarter full. And this looks like some of the Cricut type of units there. There we go. Yeah, there's the little Cricut on there. So anybody out there, you know what that is for? I didn't know specifically, but I thought that could be a really great thing for someone, and supplies that go with it too. And is that a good price? $15? Because I don't even really know what it's for, but several of those. I don't know how old they are, but fun for somebody getting started or wanting to give it a try. Not sure if they would get into it or not too much without investing a pile of money into it. And all kinds of little doodads, embossing powders, craft gems, washi tape, all kind of stuff. Oh, look at all these tons of rubber stamps, bunches and bunches all piled in. I have a pretty good collection myself still, and I let a lot of them go when we relocated up here. I mean, a lot. Some of these are in excellent condition. Some look brand new. They've never been used, and some are just lightly used, and a little bit everything in between. And they took the time to sort them into themes, which is so nice and makes it much easier to shop without having to dig through a whole pile to say, find, something for the fall season. It's all sorted and organized. There are tons of postcards and greeting cards too, and even some book jackets and things that could be used for school supplies. Something I didn't show you, they had a whole notebook, notepad, journaling section too, and I found a 3-pack of lined notepads, pretty good size ones, at least 5 by 7 or more, for $1. Those are great. Made in the USA. The paper was nice and thick, perfect for project notes or whatever. Now, that was a good buy on that. And there's a lot of greeting cards and thank you cards and ones that have never been opened. A lot of these were $1, some 50 cents, $2. There's tons and tons of this. Photo paper too. I mean, pretty much, if you can think of it, name it, it is here. And here's an entire container section, all different kinds. This unusual wooden one, I don't know if that was originally for cassettes. It seems a little bit small, but plastic boxes and metal tins and cardboard, just everything you can think of. And I don't know who can't use more storage space, really, for whatever type of craft that you're doing. Now, this wreath I thought was really incredible. Pine cones and all types of natural elements. So beautiful. Only $10. Can you believe that? It is huge and heavy. I was so tempted. I just thought it was an incredible piece, but really need a large solid face door for that without glass, which we don't have. And because where we live, I thought, you know, that would be a perfect hidey hole for bats and maybe even mice. So yeah, no thank you. I had a basket making class in the 6th grade when they had so many arts and crafts in schools. They should just bring that back so much, really. But it was so fun and something I'll probably never forget, even though mine was off kilter, a little wonky. I didn't care. It was fun and a great experience. So there's an embroidery hoop, and this is a section where there's so many odds and ends. There's empty pill bottles. This flower right here is a tubing, like you see in the hospital with the oxygen cannula or the IVs. And look at this, it looks like something you'd see out in the universe, in the stratosphere, made out of different colored light bulbs. So creative. And there's hoses and all types of other really odds and ends that you never know when people are putting together things what they come up with. I've seen ironwork that have all different unusual elements on them from things that have been reused and repurposed that I would not have thought of. Now they've got a whole fall theme, autumn theme going on. Lots of great ribbon too. Ribbon can be very costly. That was exciting to see. And there are the mannequin heads. What do we have? Oh, look at that. Look, brand new storage boxes for photographs is what those were for. Whatever you want to put in them. It's nice and perfect and clean. Great tote bags and fabric swatches, which could really be creatively repurposed. Fantastic book section. I went through all of that. Magazines too. Didn't find one on crochet or one on knitting so much that grabbed me. And I do have a number of books, but I'm always like to see what else is new. But they had quite a few on so many different art and craft subjects and projects. Almost a little something for everybody over there, and I'm sure that circulates and comes and goes too. Can you believe that? There's sewing machines that have been donated. Then you've got those fat quarters, and there's even quite a bit of yardage of fabric as well. So now here we are, dun, 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 again in the yarn section. Some nice pom-poms there. And it's just, again, everything is so well organized. Sections of and bins of crochet thread, variety of colors. There's floss, and on the bottom there's bins of just odds and ends of different types of yarn. I went through that very thoroughly. Some of those were just those real small 25 to 50 gram hanks, and I'm not sure what that is on top, if that has to do with weaving or the carding kind of thing that you do with putting together your own roving yarn for weaving. I wasn't sure, and I didn't ask about that. But this Lamb's Pride, that is something that you would find in a local yarn shop. And this one up here immediately got my attention, the pretty colors and that. I said, ooh, what's that? I just love pinks and corals and yellows together. So I had to check that out. And I did pick through and look through every bin here. There's just so much to look at and try to decide on and touch and feel. And hey, this one, Naturally Caron. I have something similar to this. Why I did not get this one, I'm not sure, because I really like that color. This is Merino Wool Blend. The one I have, I think, is Cotton and Rayon or something, but it looks very similar. I haven't made anything with it, and I've had it a number of years, and probably why I didn't pick this one up. But I do like a good chainette construction, and I think that was gone when I went in the second time. And again, more specialty yarn. And there's some cute sets already in back for $3 each, where there's kind of like a mix and match of wool colors and Barocco. And here's a really pretty Louisa Harding yarn, and this is hand beaded. I was so tempted. I was checking that out. I went back a couple of times. Wasn't sure if I should get it or not. It looks more gray right here, but it was really like a slate kind of gray blue leaning, very soft, and that is a very high-end yarn right there. And here's another shot of whatever that contraption is. It just seems to me that is probably something for weaving or whatever. Anybody out there know? I'm not familiar with it, but it was quite intriguing to me. And I really, really like how they took the time to break this yarn and put it up into categories and even colors and yarn types and fibers, and you know what I'm saying, like the wool and the higher end yarn and the acrylics and similar colors. You can see there's that Heartland to the right there, and there's some that a Premier yarn that I know that Michael's used to carry. So it was really an interesting mix. There were some woolly wools, some more like the older kind of scratchy, the virgin kind. And there is ice yarn, so that was a real, like almost a macrame type of cotton. And that fjord yarn was real interesting to me, but it wasn't a texture that I would be able to work with, but that would make a terrific something for someone. And over here, tons of hooks and needles, and those fall into the bulk category. So you could get several sets and a bunch of hooks or whatever it is that you needed all in one bag for a couple of dollars. And look at these. That is a great price on that, $2.50 for those Clover Takumi. Is that what it is? Those knitting needles. Ooh, I like those jumbo ones with the balls on there. Those look really comfortable. They feel like they're made of birch, which is really sleek and smooth and has a good slip to it, but with just enough grip. More ribbon. I kind of have a thing for ribbon. One of those things, well, I used to, that I had a thing for. It's always nice when you can find good ribbon at a good price, especially more vintage products that were made in the USA, other places. Look at those gigantic spools of thread yarn, thread weight. Oh, and that mannequin head is all buttons all over that. Wasn't quite sure what to think of it, but I will say it was creative, that's for sure. A lot of pretty fabric down there. This one in particular I really liked. Was that 1 7/8? 1 7/8. But there's 3 of them there for $7. It's nice too. It had a nice slight sheen. It was cotton and had a good hand, good feel to it, and it wasn't too thick, not too thin. And batik. I love batik. And look, there's 2 or 3 of those too. I really would have snapped that up, but I just don't know what I would make or use it for at this point and this stage in my life. I just really don't want to buy just for the sake of buying, but sometimes it's so tempted. You know how it is, you see something, then you don't get it, or you see something and you do, because you just feel, you just know, can tell that that is something that's going to work into a project later on, and you're not exactly sure, but when that comes down the pike and you're so happy you got it because it was just the perfect thing for it. And that's sort of how I felt about that fabric, but I didn't get it. Oh well, sometimes have to pick and choose, can't always have everything. So I focused on yarn that day. And this is the buttons, not quite the vintage section, but buttons were some of the things that I brought to donate, but tons, always tons of buttons, and at thrift shops, and lots of that crochet thread too. But there's things that these kind of elements can be worked into so many fun projects, and kids can just have a blast using their creative minds. Now this is that vintage section that I had mentioned, and the second time my husband went with me, and I knew he would go straight to this section. There's just some really interesting and unique pieces here. And look at that. That is a totally vintage shoehorn, and you adjust just the back end. I think it looks to me that it is adjustable in between the handle and the shoe part, but looks like it was made for a female. It's very narrow, very thin, and other pretty vintage tins as well, and a lot of National Geographic, different kind of books. You can use the books or even just the pages from the books, and vintage like Listerine bottles to the right. And over to the left there, I don't know if you, maracas. I like maracas. I think they're so cute. My daughter had a set. I don't know what happened to those. That happens sometimes when you move. But look at that to the left. I don't know, is that maybe from an organ? Kind of looks like to me the keys from an organ. I'm not entirely sure. That's sure what it seems like. I thought that was quite unique. Yeah, well, fun stuff. And I really like vintage tins. This one caught my eye. That looks like Mount Rainier here in Washington State. And then just to give you a little overview, kind of one fell swoop at a glance of some of the fabric. So colorful, so beautiful. And then I went to the left of the counter over here where I didn't go at the beginning, and these are art pens and pencils and paintbrushes and various different types of mediums, and some again are new, some are full, some are used, but this is a part of the bulk section as well, so you can buy all different color pens, colored pencils, whatever you like, markers, crayons, so many different things. And there's that framing section again, so that was on the front side of it. So there you see there's this decoupage and all different types. So something you want to try out and just play with without having to go into an art supply and buying a full bottle. If you don't even need a full bottle, not sure you're going to like it. Paint brushes, some are used, some are new, and some things are in their package. And there's a light box that was for doing stenciling. I have that exact same light box, and there's a heat gun too. Use that for embossing and various projects as well. Check these out. Highlighters. Anybody need a highlighter pen? Now tell me, how many of these decorative scissors did you have, or do you still have some? That one was Heartbeat. I think that was maybe one of the first ones that came out. I still have a couple. Now I know where I can get one or two really inexpensively if I need them. I am just so happy to see that these types of places exist, and I had no idea before I read that post. And I'm so thrilled that there's one down in Spokane, and I would not have known about it otherwise. And like I'd said, that this Art Salvage was a different name from the one that she mentioned, but I just did a general search. So if you're not familiar with one in your area, you could do the same. Just go online, Art Salvage, Art Reuse, something like that. And that's how I did it when this one popped up. And here is something I had no idea about until I used the restroom and saw this poster on the back of the door, the Farm Chicks Vintage and Handmade Fair. That was at the Spokane Fairgrounds in June, a 2-day event. So if you're interested in checking out the website just for fun, I know I will be. It's thefarmchicks.com, and I'll be looking into it as maybe something fun to do next year. Well, what did you think? Did you like it? Is that a place where you thought that you would just love to go to and poke around and find some hidden treasures in there yourselves? I'm going to show you what I got in order of the 2 different trips. Okay, so here we go. I got one ball, skein. Skein, there we go, 3rd time's a charm. One skein of a Lion Brand Heartland. It is one of my all-time favorite acrylics. I really like this, especially in the cooler months. Look at that. That was only $1. And I'm a yarn sniffer, and maybe a little bit of that kind of closet smell, and that's really it. Nothing that stands out, nothing that's bothersome in any way, and that is the color of Great Sand Dunes. So I do use this yarn a lot in all variety of colors, so I was really happy with that. Here we go. I bought this one. Oh, I love these colors, kind of citrusy with just little pops of kind of a tealish green in there. And this is 100% merino wool, and it's a single ply yarn, so it has a bit of that roving where it goes a little bit thick to thin, which I really like for certain projects because it adds more texture and dimension to that. And this is just so soft and lovely. And even though it is fingering weight, I do work with fine yarns occasionally, but being that it's only one hank, this is something that I have a yarn that I only have one of, and it's in the yellow, has a little sparkle to it. Oh, a dragonfly, how neat. So I think that I could put 2 strands together, and that would give me more of like a sport to a DK weight. So I'm thrilled with that. And this is by Emma Rose Yarns, and looks like she had an Etsy shop, which is no longer, or is not open at this time anyway. I don't know if there are plans to come back or not. But it is hand dyed, 437 yards, recommended hand wash, lay flat to dry. So I thought that was a great find for $7. That was my most expensive yarn purchase in there. And then, now this was a surprise find. Joanne Big Twist Supernova. Oh boy, that's a good one. That was $5, so that was half the original regular price. And I know that Hirschner's is now carrying this. I don't know if they have this color, all the colors or what. That was really exciting. And this is a number 2 fine weight, but it's not so fine. Easier to work with, and looks again like a roving yarn that I enjoy. And it has all kinds of nice colors in it. I think that's going to be fun to work up. And this one is called Mother Earth, and it is, I know it's a wool acrylic blend. I think it's 80 tweemium 80 premium acrylic and 20% wool. And it's soft, it's nice, it's squishy, and I like the colors. It even has a little like a ochre burnt ochre color there, and some lime green, pea green, forest green, hunter green, evergreen. I mean, just bright and light and dark and moss, and a really pretty royal blue and a gorgeous teal blue. Has such an interesting range. So I was very happy with that. This is plenty. When I say 475 yards, 5.3 ounces, plenty enough to make a scarf with that. Okay, so that was my first trip. And then I went back and I saw this the first time and I thought about it, and then I called, decided to get it because I could use it here on YouTube, even though I'm not really doing the market anymore. But this would be great to have actually a human head to when I do hats stuff, you know, instead of my styrofoam heads. This is really weighted, and her hair was really gummy, like it had layers upon layers of product and hairspray in it, gummy and really grungy feeling. So I washed it, got her home and washed it and restyled it a little bit with what hair she had left. And this originally, I looked it up, and it was what I thought was used in cosmetology school. Beauty colleges practice for cutting hair. You can kind of see that at the end. It's a little bit uneven, but that's what it was for. We've got a little straggler here, so I'll clean that up a little bit. But it's good. I mean, it'll be great. Will be more proportional for hats when I put them on, because those styrofoam heads are always much smaller than human heads. So when I'm outside, it's not going to blow off when I'm trying to take pictures, because it really is weighted. So I'll have to give her a name. She came as Deborah. I'm not sure. She looks like a Deborah to me. Any thoughts? Any ideas? Pick a name. Maybe I'll go with what's the most popular one on here, or I'll just randomly pick a name. So tell me, what do you think? What does she look like to you? So I looked online, I went to the website, and they were $50 plus shipping. So if you're curious, I paid, oh there it is, $15 for her. And then I did find a little bit more yarn. Ta-da, another ball of the Heartland, and this one is in Acadia. And that one also was $1. Now they had a different one the first time I went. It was that gorgeous, really rich chocolate brown that has the heathered flecks of the golden in it, and I considered getting it, but it was $5, which Michael's carries Heartland, and they have 20% off sales frequently, and the regular price is, I think it is $6.99 now, somewhere in there. So I decided not to get it, and then hope that brown one is still like available in stores or online, because it's a beautiful color. But I like this creamy one because it's such a great neutral, and it goes with so much, and blankets, and to work it in and to separate the colors so they pop. So that was a great find too for $1. And then the last thing I got, I've been talking about this for several years now. I'm getting closer and closer to trying my hand at dyeing yarn with all natural elements, things from around here. And that's right. And I'm looking over there is where I look, because there is some St. John's wort, which has bright kind of a yellowish, mustardy yellow to yellow flowers on it. And so I need to get out there and forage those too. And I'm just going to use what is around here and what's seasonal. So I better get the cracking. And that willow too, the leaves, you can use the leaves and the bark. So those are going to start shedding their leaves pretty soon. So I need to do some cuttings off of that and getting them all dried. So that way when I'm ready to do it, then I'll have all these elements ready to go. So now the last, or actually the second to last, because there's just one other little thing I wanted to show you and talk about. So the second to last is this bear, or naked, undyed, or I assume it's undyed anyway, is Superwash Merino. And I looked it up. It's discontinued. And this is the Jill, J-I-L, Eaton, E-A-T-O-N, Minnow yarn by Classic Elite Yarns, made in Peru. And the micron count, it said, is as lovely as cashmere. And it is so soft and not itchy at all. 77 yards total each, and there were 3, and I looked through all of the bins in the wool and then beyond the other ones, just in case that one accidentally went into another. And sure enough, first I only found 2, and then when I poked around those other bottom bins, ta-da, third one. Haha, I could juggle. So 77 yards times 3 is, I think that was 231 yards, something like that. But that is enough to make maybe a little cowl or something. Did I tell you Aran weight? It says a number 4, but it's definitely more like an Aran or light chunky weight to me. And slightly roving perhaps, but I think pretty consistent, really. Not there, there's a little bit thinner there. So it was my roving find, I suppose, huh? See, there it goes a little thinner. Pretty consistent, and I think this will be really nice for something, and definitely fun to play for sure. And these were $5 each, which I thought, for the quality, made in Peru, how lovely it is, that was worth it. So Classic Elite Yarns closed down in 2018. Isn't that sad? 2018. So that was a terrific find. Oh, and the last little thing, this is something that I picked up at a yard sale a few years ago, and this is Louisa Harding yarns. It's a specialty yarn, and it's the beaded yarn, and this is a silk, really nice silken something. And it was just a small ball that I picked up. I think it was like $1. I mean, it's originally very expensive yarn. I thought that would be fun to work into something, maybe a little trim, and it comes already with the beads attached. And you saw me in the tour handling the pretty, I don't know what gray blue, slate, light gray blue, cloudy blue on there. Anyway, they had 2 hanks, and really pretty, really beautiful. But I do beading on my own anyway, and so I thought, took that into consideration. Since I already got all this, I'm like, okay, that was it. I reached and exceeded my limit, but still there's some other time. Who knows? But I have plenty to work with, and a lot of great finds here. So I am just happy with what I got. Very, very happy indeed. All right, so let me know what you think. Okay, and thanks again for being here as always. And I will see you again next time. Okay, take good care, everybody. All right, enjoy the rest of your summer. Woo! Stay cool. Okay, bye for now.